say you wanna watch a drama. You say you wanna watch a comedy. Well, you can watch it with your mama, or you can watch it with your daddy.
You'll even sit and watch it with your middle schooler, so you can come and talk around a water cooler. We're watching all day and all night.
Couch potatoes unite.
Whoa, whoa.
Couch potatoes unite.
Whoa, whoa. Couch potatoes unite.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! Which is based on a blog of the same name because we are the couch potatoes of today and tomorrow. Haha! My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, as you're bound to find some common ground with something you like. For Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU! Hopes you've been following releases of brand new episodes of the podcast on Wednesdays, as well as new blog entries on some Tuesdays, and as always, we have several more new episodes on the way. Because the panelists and I live lives behind our podcast, the episodes are published once per week. Subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, via Google Play, and now on Spotify to stay on top of brand new episodes. Episodes already published discuss a variety of shows around the water cooler, including, but not limited to, The Crown, Once Upon a Time, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Fuller House, Westworld, American Horror Story, The Good Place, Grace and Frankie, Supernatural, Arrested Development, and Jane the Virgin. Plus new episodes are in the works, including revisits for Doctor Who, Gotham, Schitt's Creek, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, iZombie, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Orange is the New Black, 13 Reasons Why. The Marvel's Defenders panel will talk Season 2 of The Punisher, and the Star Trek 50 Plus series will cover the animated series. We'll be launching new panels covering The Americans, Riverdale, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Altered Carbon, Mr. Robot, Charmed, Outlander, and the Breaking Bad universe. And because we look back at shows now past, we'll take a smallish look back at a short-term show from some kind of yesteryear, called Freaks and Geeks. We'll don witch hats and bring our Salem cats for Sabrina the Teenage Witch. We'll put out some musical stops for our crazy ex-girlfriend, and we'll revisit one of the all-time and most watched classic sitcoms, MASH. By the way, did you know that CPU also from time to time goes live? We've been live from bunkers and comedy shows and Comic-Cons, and we just went live from Blue Bridge Games to take a shiny look back at Firefly. Plus, we're planning more live appearances and other cool stuff. It's true. So make sure you like or follow us at our Facebook page, our Twitter at CPU Podcast, our Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite, or subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, our Stitcher Radio channel, Google Play, and then find us on Spotify. Have I mentioned Spotify lately? In the meantime, if you don't hear your show in this podcast format, fellow panelists and I still write reviews, and we always seek new panelists, so if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello by finding us at any of those outlets I've mentioned. At the very least, stop by and leave us a thumbs up, comment, or review. We like feedback! The non-magical kind, preferably. Magic is messy, as we found out this season. Today, we're around the water cooler and continuing another of CPU's podcast series. This series does not have a fixed number of episodes like other series we do. Rather, it is ongoing and covers a number of shows that fall under one large umbrella, expanding into a quite popular universe of comic book adaptations. With that said, today's episode is episode 22 of our DCTU series, in which our DCTU expert panel discusses the DC television universe, that is, television programs, adapted from DC comic book properties that have morphed and expanded into one television universe. In this 22nd episode of our DCTU podcast series, we return to the water cooler to talk the fourth season of the Arrowverse's second spin-off, namely DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which aired from October 22nd, 2018 to May 20th, 2019 on the CW. To remind the listener, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, or simply Legends of Tomorrow, is an American superhero television series developed by Greg Berlanti, Mark Guggenheim, Andrew Kreisberg, and Phil Klemmer, who are also executive producers, along with Sarah Schechter and Chris Fedak. Klemmer and Fedak serve as showrunners. The series, based on the characters of DC Comics, is a spin-off featuring characters introduced in Arrow and The Flash, along with new characters, and is set in the Arrowverse along with the other two shows. Well, the other 4 shows now. In Season 4, occult detective John Constantine, played by Matt Ryan, joins the team to help them hunt down magical fugitives that have been scattered throughout the timeline following the team's battle with Wallace. Along the way, they eventually discover that the events surrounding the creatures have been orchestrated by the demon Neron, who Constantine has faced before. The Legends are joined further by the shapeshifter Charlie, played by Maisie Richardson Sellers, who becomes stuck in Amaya's physical form after losing her powers, and Mona Wu, played by Ramona Young, who has the ability to turn into a Kelpie. Today, on the 22nd episode of our DCTU series, our DCTU panel, namely Kyle, Hillary, Spencer, Kristen, and Nick, returns to focus specifically upon Season 4 of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Before we get into the discussion, as always, I'm going to take our typical moment to take the panel's temperature because, after all, as we all know, sometimes the show can take turns for the better or worse in our heads, or it can continue its level of awesomeness or lack thereof depending upon its story evolution. As always, it should be noted that all of our panelists have watched every single episode of Legends of Tomorrow through the end of the 4th season and will, without doubt, discuss sensitive plot points. So for those of you who are not caught up on Legends of Tomorrow, or really any of the DCTU to date, listen at your own risk as there may be major spoilers. Welcome back, panel. How are you?
Great, thanks. Good.
What?
I said good, thanks, and I said that's a lie.
Aww. It's okay, Spencer.
I'm fine. That's English for
Everything hurts and I'm dying.
pretty much.
Aww. Well, will it help to talk about Legends of
Yes,
Tomorrow?
it will.
Okay, good. Hooray! Because that's what we're going to do.
Yay.
That's so convenient.
I know! So because we're conveniently here to talk about Legends Tomorrow, let's get started. We're going to go over the standard CPU character question, which changes with each show we do, so I can take your temperature, not in any inappropriate way, just the regular way that we take temperatures. Sound good?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was still processing what you said, but yes!
Process away. So, how do you feel about DC's Legends of Tomorrow following the 4th season along the following scale, which, of course, I've changed again because Legends of Tomorrow changes all the time. Here we go. Do you basically watch it because you like to know everything that's going on throughout time and space to be helpful when called upon to provide trivia or tidbits of such knowledge, and you find yourself getting more and more involved with these characters? Almost as if you can't help yourself, like Gideon. Do you watch it because you think it's legend? Wait for it, dairy. And or because you want to be a legend just like these future legends? You also think the show is improving tremendously despite the fact that it might be regarded as a little small compared to its higher rated big brothers, Arrow and the Flash, like Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. Do you think that it's kind of cool, that it definitely has some cool twists on history, your favorite subject, and that the characters are fun, particularly the Atom? Also, you really enjoy the Zari character, possibly for sexy reasons. Either way, you're ready to go with the flow and let things roll off your back, particularly since you're made of steel, like Nathan Haywood, aka Steel. Do you watch Legends because you think it's so neat? You never saw the appeal before this season, but the magical creatures storyline hit you where you live. Literally, like Mona Wu. Did you only start watching the show last season, and or you only started liking the show last season, but you've grown a newfound appreciation for it, and especially for the Steel character, possibly for sexy reasons, like Zari Tomaz? Do you watch it for practicality's sake? After all, you're the captain now, and you want to make sure this crew of motley, dysfunctional heroes does the right thing and doesn't waste or destroy time, and or you want the show to be better than it is, like Sarah Lance, aka White Canary? Do you watch it because your best friend used to watch it? You don't actually like it all that much, or so you pretend. Your best friend long since stopped watching it, but despite your better judgment, or possibly need to be intoxicated when at all possible, the silly little show might be growing on you, though you'd never admit that openly, like Mick Rory, aka Heatwave. Did you only start watching the show this season, but you don't know if you can truly get into it yet? You like the characters, but you feel that the show might change too much, even for you, like Charlie. Do you begrudgingly watch this show? Truth to power, it's not really your bag, love, as you're more about saving souls and slaying demons magically, but perhaps there are a few things you can tolerate from time to time, so long as things stay exciting, like John Constantine. Do you watch it because you feel like you have to? You have a duty to watch all of these Arrowverse shows, possibly because your significant other watches them, but ultimately because you feel the timeline should be protected at all costs, like Ava Sharp, or you don't really like the show much at all. It reminds you of confusing times with your father, even if the Ray character kind of grows on you, like Nora Dark. Who would like to start?
I'm Nick.
Hi, Nick.
I was Ray last time.
You were.
And I am still Ray. I do think I enjoyed Season 3 a little bit more than this season, but this season is showing that they do know what they're doing, and that they'll hopefully keep at least maintaining this. So I'm going to maintain my Ray status.
Okay. Welcome back, Nick, maintaining your Ray status.
Thanks, Kylie.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go with Ray as well.
What's your name already?
I'm Spencer.
Hi,
The only one that
Spencer.
sounds like this, for God's
But
sake.
remind the listener.
Put yourself in a box.
I thought this season was very good, although I agree with Nick, some of the storylines in season 3 were just a touch better, a little bit more of the pop culture stuff that I always really enjoy.
Last time you were Ray and Nate because of the pop culture stuff and the improvements.
Yeah, and I'm going to just go full on Ray, just one character this time.
Oh, he says with a little hint to the side of him.
Oh, no! Well,
You're in a sandwich of that, so.
Yeah.
And
He's
with
in,
that,
he's in a great spot.
You
Well, let me welcome back Spencer.
Okay, Spencer. Yo.
He gives a little wave.
it's
Okay,
always
now.
good for a podcast.
All right.
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
I'm sitting next to Spencer,
You are.
which is always fun. So last time I was Amaya and Nate.
Because you thought they were cute.
They were really cute. I'm still going to be Nate this season. I think it's kind of cool. It's fun. And he's really cute, so I have
For
to be Nate again.
sexy reasons.
Yes. He's very, I've liked him since his What About You days with Amanda Bynes.
She
so.
has stated a very
Whoa.
strong affirmation toward
Yeah.
Throwback.
Mr. Zano.
I know. And I do like the Zari character, but not for sexy reasons. But I just think she's
just
fun.
own it. It's okay.
No, but she's really fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with one, and I'm gonna go with just Nate.
Okay. Welcome back, Kristen.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm not going to go with just one, but hey, I'm Hillary.
Hey, Hillary.
So I'll get to the disclaimer in a minute, but ultimately...
Fucking tradition.
Bucking
I like
tradition. Suck it. The last time I was Ray also, and what was the other one?
Amaya.
Oh, also Amaya. I'm still going to stick with Ray too for the same reasons that mainly what Nick and Spencer just said. I still really enjoy this show. I still think it's fun. I think that they still were on the same track as, again, the third season, but it was a little less than I think what we all dug about the third season, which we'll talk about more. But I do, as the other character I'm going to be is Nate or Steele, just because I still that's my favorite part of the show is all of the aspects that they did a little more pop culture in season 3, but they did a lot of fictional characters this time. I like when they pull that in there too. It's fun, particularly the Jane Austen and some other stuff we'll talk about. Those are my characters. And Kyle's going to talk. He's my husband. And you're the moderator, my sister.
That's true. Welcome back, Hillary, my sister.
And I'm Kyle, the
Hi.
husband.
Hi, Kyle, the husband.
Last time I was Ray and Amaya,
Yes.
and I'm also going to stick with Ray this time. In my opinion, this is the best of the CW shows. And except for one character, I actually like the season better than all the rest of the seasons.
Oh, I want to guess which character.
I'm not shocked by your astounding announcement, but we'll get into it. Welcome back, Kyle. Because I know what he's going to say. And of course, my name is... Both things. I know why he liked this season better, and I know which character he's talking about. And of course, my name is Kylie. Last time I was Ray and Amaya. This time I will also just stay Ray. I agree with Spencer and Hillary and Nick. Season 3 to me was a little bit better. Season 4 was still enjoyable. There's a large reason of why it was still enjoyable, which I'm probably going to agree with Kyle about. But there were some things that were a little weird. Namely, this character we're hinting at would be detraction. But there were some other things too, and we'll talk about that. So welcome back, DCTU series panel. Let's talk about season 4 now. Of course, we did our mid-season roundup. This is the last of our 4 this year kind of recaps and reviews of the 4 Arrowverse shows. We've done all the other 3, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl. Now we're talking about Legends. We talked about the first half in the roundup, but you can talk about whatever you want. What did you like? What didn't you like? You know how this works.
There's something wrong with my brain because I didn't remember we talked about Supergirl yet.
We've talked about Supergirl, and
All
it's
right.
published.
All right.
So good
It
job.
was the last time we were together.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for me, I was in the Fortress of Solitude.
She
I
was in the
Okay.
Fortress
had
of
Now I
Solitude.
remember.
was contagious.
It was solitude-y.
We were here.
Yeah.
In your house.
I guess what I'm saying is try to have a more memorable conversation.
Oh!
Up the game.
It was pretty spicy. catty and derogatory towards the Supergirl.
Yeah.
You're
Maybe
already
it's melding
repressing.
with the Arrow conversation because it has the same tones.
Well, okay. But we're here to talk about Legends.
Thank goodness.
So what did we think about Legends?
I thought the overarching storyline was fun.
Yeah.
You know, having mythical creatures and stuff just made it really interesting, which was a nice change from what some of the other shows have done.
And I feel like the writers just get better with each season, just like the little jokes, in-jokes, and poking fun at themselves, and then poking fun at the CW and the format. Like, it's
Like,
just
we
a
should have
smart
been
show.
part of the crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
Or like
God.
when
Best
they're
line
dressed
of
up.
the season.
Best line.
Well, and they kept going with it too, like, oh, you need franchise superheroes to draw people's attention. Then after that, you can do your own thing.
Yeah.
That whole
So
commercial with Sarah being the most perky Supergirl that you
Yeah.
could ever think of.
Gary and the
Gary as the
ridiculous
Flash.
Flash.
Yeah.
We'll be there in a flash.
That was fun.
That was a brilliant moment, although in the finale. So if you want to talk about some stuff that
Well, I
happened
just mean
before.
it makes the whole DC universe of the CW show feel bigger. Like in the summer camp episode when they kept referencing Swamp Thing and John Constantine knowing him, and like so many little comments. You can't even keep track of them. There's just so many.
That and the way that they like to draw on real life situations and things that have happened that we all enjoy in pop culture, and they kind of go back and do the creation of those events.
Yes.
That makes this show just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it seems like more like the more the other CW shows become kind of preachy after school specials, this one just gets funner and
Supergirl.
funner.
Excuse me.
But this one also had a, like, so they did a fun Legends twist of we're doing mythical creatures, but they're
Scattered
Not.
throughout history.
and they're horrible
Well,
things.
I like the first
Yeah.
two were
Like
They're
Unicorn
evil.
isn't what
Yeah,
the
they-
first
Yeah,
two were.
Unicorn
the
is
unicorn
mean
and
and
the
the
fairy
fairy
godmother.
godmother.
Yeah, characters that you
No.
process as being good, but they were not good.
The fairy godmother was cray cray.
Oh, and they picked a
She-
perfect
Big
actor.
Bad?
Oh, she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was ready to throw down.
But then they also go on to the finale, like this is what we talked about Supergirl doing badly. They're taking this as like a metaphor. We think, we might think these are the bad people or this ogre's bad or that because we have that in our heads, but like it does it a little bit in little ways, whereas Supergirl
Yeah, little, and
bashes
it
you
makes
over
them
the
so
head.
much more fun.
It does.
Yeah.
That you don't need to pay attention to it, you can just enjoy the show.
It makes you think without wanting to kill a writer.
Yeah. It
Wow.
doesn't.
Yeah, because a lot of people might go into
Yeah.
well, a lot of people might go into Legends thinking, "Oh, this is just." I mean, we've said that it is a campier tone, but it's meant to be. They know what they're doing now that they've found their pattern. They stick with it, but there is a lot of that intellectual aspect added into it in little doses, and there's still all those themes that he's talking
It
about.
almost feels like if Cisco from The Flash wrote a superhero show, the way that all these little bits of pop culture, these little fun stories, they seem to have come from that sort of mind.
You know, it's slowly becoming Rory's fan fiction coming away.
That's kind of true.
I love that.
It is a little Rory more than Cisco lately.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, you watch the first season, and, like, Dominique Purcell's great as Rory, but it's like, he's just seen, like, coming off The Flash when he's just played as a foil for Captain Cold, he's just gruff,
Like
and, like,
his one-liners are
yeah,
great.
exactly,
Well,
like,
yes.
he went from kind of a one-dimensional thug character into
He was
this
one of the
so
bad
much
guys.
funnier,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
straight up bad guy.
Yeah, he wasn't a bad guy with a conscience like Captain Cold. He was
No.
just a bad guy.
Bad guy.
And he's still kind of a bad guy. He just has a certain artistic flair. So, with a very specific oeuvre, if you will.
We will. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. You're welcome. So, are we going to refer to the character? So, Kyle, why did you like... Let's just get to it. Kyle, why did you like Season 4 slightly more than Season 3?
As
Because he
mentioned-
likes English accent.
That's me.
One of my all-time, I've mentioned this on other podcasts, but John Constantine is one of my top 5 favorite superhero comics.
List all 5.
I was gonna say, the constants are Daredevil, Captain America, Swamp Thing, Constantine,
Dr.
and
Doom.
Yeah. Anything with Dr. Doom.
Joker.
But
This
yeah,
list
I
really
absolutely love
like,
John
rotates.
Constantine.
Well, he
And-
has mentioned Constantine 25 times.
Yeah.
He has.
And Matt Ryan is
He
just
does.
so perfect
One of the
He's
most
perfect.
as that character. So just being able, like, that he gets to keep playing this character after his own show crashed. It's great.
And Bird.
And the more of him you see, the more you love him.
I love him. He is my number
He
one
brought a
favorite.
lot to the show.
Yeah, he's my number one favorite character, hands down. I like his edge. I like the fact that they've actually given him stories. I like the fact that they're, as of the finale, kind of dragging some Hellblazer into it. I like the fact that he has really good chemistry with at least half of the people. So he to me makes it fun, even when the stories were a little draggy this season, especially the magical creatures and inside the Time Bureau. His stuff, I always wanted to come back to Constantine and watch what he was doing.
Yeah, as soon as he came on the screen, you're like, oh, good.
Yeah, he's back.
And it's
Great.
like some of the most ridiculous things. Like I absolutely love the character of John Constantine. I never thought I'd see him like as a summer camp counselor in
Right.
1980s, and like the shorts, and he just like owned it, and he was so hilarious. But
Yeah,
that's what I
really
love
fun.
about him. It's like the comics. You can have him be really dark and serious, but then you can also have these completely ridiculous scenarios with him, and he can play both equally well.
I don't think this was this season, but when he played Dungeons and Dragons,
With Gary, yeah.
Yes, it was awesome. And made Doctor Who references.
Bless you.
That was very fun.
Well, and also it's like in the comics, there's an ongoing theme that like everybody he gets close to dies, and so he's always by himself, except for like when he's paired with Swamp Thing, who can't die, which is one of the reasons why they're best friends. But then like to see him as part of a team and how he interacts with the team is something you don't ever get in the comics.
Right.
Yeah, it's something I worried about with how they would make him fit with the team. And although both sides were reluctant at first, it definitely gelled by the end of the season. It was good storytelling.
Well, and he also has fabulous one-liners and you know, little colloquialisms that he labs at people, so that's delightful. I like him.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that, you know, unlike some other shows you can actually introduce new characters semi-randomly, and it will work out as long as the storytelling
And Legends
the
will do that constantly.
Yeah, and they have, but it just goes
But they
to
work.
show
Like
you.
look at Zari. I didn't think I would like her when they introduced her. I thought she was just felt like
I
some
really
of the
like
other characters.
Zari.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I love
enjoy
Zari. She
Zari,
has
too.
her own tone.
I think she has her own tone. She's a good female character.
She brings a nice sass quotient.
She does.
She got to take care of a baby dragon egg. That was pretty fun.
That's one ugly baby dragon.
Well, you know, dragons aren't attractive. So, I see we have a lot of things to say. So how about the character we don't like?
I'm starting to get nervous. It's not the character I don't like isn't the same as everyone else.
Oh, I think it's the same.
Okay.
It's Mona.
It's Mona.
Nails on
Mona!
the chalkboard.
Yeah, what the
She
heck?
was fine in small amounts when they were just like she was just the girl
Yeah.
bringing
That's
the food.
exactly right. When she
Yeah.
was small amounts, it was almost cute.
Yeah, her and
But then-
Gary,
I
small
wouldn't even
tiny.
go that far.
But then it became
Yeah.
really annoying.
Yep.
Like,
They
Yeah.
overused her.
way too much.
Yeah.
They tried to.
Because
do
I
too
actually
much
really
of
loved the
arc
character
around
of
her.
Gary, and so like when they played off her and gave him a little side plot with her, it was fine. But then when they made her her own,
No.
She's
big
a
portion of the
regular.
show,
He's
yeah.
not even a regular.
Exactly.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
I don't really like Gary.
Is she channeling
It's
an
almost too
actual
much.
DC character?
no,
Exactly. So why is she
Why?
in Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah, Gary and Mona, I wouldn't be upset if they were both not in next season.
Yeah. Well, I think Gary, again in small doses,
Yeah.
Small,
adds
very
a
small
certain.
dose.
Yeah.
It became a bit
I
too
think
much.
people like Gary,
Well,
so they
people-
wrote more Gary
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, people like Gary. He had the whole nipple problem, you know?
Yes.
So that's kind of funny. If you add him in little doses to play off of Ava, who's a stiff, that works really well.
But little doses is the key point.
True. They used him and they used Mona way.
well, and like in the last season when they had Constantine paired with Gary, it was perfect. But then
Yeah,
they
it was
kept them
fine.
apart this season.
Yeah. Well, they started the season. If you can believe that whole nipple thing was at the beginning of the season.
And then
The
it returned
unicorn.
again at the end.
Yes, and then it returned. So
Like I was kind of.
he was still having his pinings for Constantine at the beginning of the season, whatever that was.
I was just gonna say I really was kind of on Sarah's side when she like let it rip on Mona when they were like in the Winnebago thing, and then she was like, "This is all your fault, Mona," and then she goes off on the bicycle by herself because Sarah hurt her feelings. I kind of felt Sarah's pain. Somebody needed to let loose on that situation.
Agreed.
I have nothing to add.
We don't need to. It's Mona. We can.
She's terrible.
Do we know, is she a series regular next season?
I do not know
The
that.
show hasn't started up yet.
No. Not yet.
It will start January 14,
Yes,
2020.
Yeah,
As part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, their premiere is their
They're part
segment.
So they are part of the
Yes.
crossover.
Yes.
All 5 shows are part of the crossover.
It's a 5-episode crossover?
Yes.
It's a 5-episode crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
3 before the break. It's either 3 before the break and 2 after, or vice versa.
It's like a Lord of the Rings movie.
It's kind
How
of
long
big.
is the break between?
It's a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
It's
We
like
did
the 2
talk about
holiday
that.
weeks and then 2 weeks of January.
Bastards.
Yeah.
They really don't want me to start watching it until the other 2 are...
Yeah, I may have to do the same. So I can binge watch 5 in a row.
Right.
I don't need a 4-week cliffhanger.
Yeah. What is this, the 90s? With the summer cliffhangers?
They want you to keep watching all their shows, Nick.
I'm gonna anyway.
Because you're forced to.
Fully obliged.
Well, only because I'm forced to watch one of them. I don't know yet about Batwoman, and Arrow's gonna be done.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it
Yeah,
stays
Arrow,
done.
we've got, 6 episodes left? This season's not been bad at all.
That's good. So we don't know if Mona's back.
What? We don't know.
We don't know if Mona's a
Mona's
series regular next season or not.
correct.
Okay.
So we can still hope not. Things could still be up in the air, and we just don't know yet.
I'd be surprised if she wasn't in it, but maybe they'll back off her
Yeah.
if other
Yeah.
people agree. We.
She didn't bring anything extra that was good.
No.
They were
Like,
really trying
Those
to.
are the parts that felt like filler to me.
Yeah, they were way
That's what I'm
Very
trying to say.
filler.
It felt like filler, and how I didn't need it, but it also felt like the writers were putting importance on this character as if she's going to be a part of the team. And I don't know if that's. This character's not connected to any comic books. We can definitely keep them. This actress, I don't know, she's not as big a name or not a name at all. I don't.
I've never
So they
heard
can
of her.
we will keep this character around.
Well, I mean, her power right now is she's a werewolf.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it could be fun, but it wasn't this season.
Yeah.
Well, all the times that she actually turned into the werewolf were just weird and awkward and strange.
Uh-huh.
When it just switched to a much larger actress.
Well,
Yeah,
and then
and prosthetics.
we've just watched on The Flash that similar dynamic that they started doing with Caitlin and Killer Frost, because they seem to be alternate personas.
Yeah, but that's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which makes this seem
Look,
even
this
worse
is
than
how
it
you do
is.
it properly. This is how you do not do it
Yeah.
at all.
Also, Killer Frost, it's a real character.
Yeah,
exactly.
an actual DC character
You like
Yeah.
her?
from the
She's
property on the show she's on.
Mona/Wolfie is not.
She's made up. She's basically Teen Wolf.
They're all made up, Kylie.
But this one's super out of the blue made up for this show.
This is extra made up.
Yeah.
It's extra.
Gotcha.
So extra.
I was totally giving the today terminology there.
He's
I'm
hip.
You're with it.
Jinx.
Good job, Spencer.
So what else?
I was
your mouth.
We're very all over the place
Ooh,
today.
I was
go ahead, Nick.
excited
I'll later.
for Thomas F. Wilson.
Biff
Yes,
Tannen
Biff.
played Nate's
He
father.
even made a
about
Biff
him.
reference.
He
Thomas
did.
Biff Wilson.
Oh, that made me so happy.
There were a few little Back to the Future jokes,
Moments, yeah.
which I really
Which
enjoyed.
you can't be part of a major time travel franchise
And
and
not
then
talk
be at
about
Legends.
Back to the Future.
But what's really fun about it is that Tom Wilson hates the references to Back to the Future because that's all he's ever going to get, and he was fine with it in the script.
I think
which
he's.
is really cool.
I think he got.
You have to.
He's come
embrace
to
it.
terms
You
with it.
just have to come to a point where you
Yeah,
I've heard
Mark
a couple-
Hamill didn't like being Luke Skywalker for a while. I think people just have to get older and get okay with
And I
it.
think
Especially-
I think there's a reason for that. When you play a character and the first thing that you ever do becomes so iconic,
Yes.
Well, and
You're
he
always
was
trapped.
20 or
yeah,
something
you're
when he
always
did
going to
that.
be stuck with that, and that's what happened to Mark Hamill. That's what happened to Tom Wilson. Is you were in a very successful movie franchise
Right out of the gate.
where you are instantly recognized as this character wherever you go because everybody saw it or has seen it
And
subsequently.
he probably hears, "What are you looking at, butthead?"
He's
question.
been called
Yeah.
a butthead and Biff more times than his actual name in his life. I can see that. I
Yeah.
think in an interview,
it could get annoying.
I heard that he had little cards printed up with all the answers to the most asked questions he would get.
He
So he'd
he
be
wrote
like,
a song
Here you
about
go.
it.
Here you go. I'm done with this.
Yeah. But I mean, you can even imagine as an actor going for an audition and the first thing they say is, "Oh yeah, it's Biff Tannen,"
Mhm.
and you don't get the job because you're too recognizable
You're too
as this
stereotyped.
character.
But on the other hand,
On the
But I
flip
think
side of
he's
that,
gotten-
most actors
Yeah.
would kill themselves, I think, to be able to be that recognized for the rest of, like, even beyond your years. That's what people are going to know you for, and that's kind of cool too.
It seems like the culture has flipped because it is more fan-driven, the decisions casting makes, and conventions being more popular. So I think that's why Mark Hamill can talk directly to the fans using social media more, and so
Well,
can
he's
Thomas
also
F.
built
Middleton.
another recognizable set of characters
Yes.
over the course of his career as well. So he isn't just Luke Skywalker.
But that's the first thing people...
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson, though, I don't think he has a backup. So,
He's mostly just been doing like stand-up and
yeah.
yeah.
comedy albums.
But-
But I mean, I like that character, and I like that they subverted the kind of shadowy government figure, and you find out like all his hidden plans is to pretty much make like Jurassic
An
Park,
amusement
with
park.
amusement park that his son drew up when he was
Yeah,
small.
he's actually doing it
Yeah.
for father-son reasons, which is, like, super
Yeah.
When
Hey,
Nate
little
thought he
girls.
didn't really love him the whole time.
Yeah.
Aww.
It was a sweet storyline.
It
was-
was,
yeah.
because I liked when they were having that talk at the end, like, when Nate was almost dying. Yeah.
When he was in the afterlife for a
Yeah.
brief moment.
Yeah, I really
Well, and
liked
the
that
Thanksgiving
whole conversation.
episode too, when like Nate resents him because he kept when he was a kid, his dad would always leave during the holidays to do these things, and then he realizes he's become his dad. He's the one who has to like keep popping off on his loved ones.
And it gave more depth to Nate other than just, you know, like him banging people. Because that's been pretty much his main thing.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that and being historically minded.
Yeah. He's the
Well,
history teacher.
But they've still been
They
really,
rarely utilize
Yeah,
that.
they really,
They
it's
really
really
don't.
been about the romance.
Which, and I
Ever
get with
since
Well,
Rick
not just
left,
that,
no
but
one talks to
him
him
and
about
Ray
history.
bugging out.
well, and
You always
dealing
have
with
characters.
mythical characters, the history doesn't.
I don't think
I mean,
that's
it,
true.
they
There was no
could
history
tie it
in
in
that
more.
scene.
There isn't
season,
a lot of
really.
facts.
The other thing is, with that character, the special effects budget is so high to get him as Steel. You're going to see a lot less of him as Steel because this show has a lower budget than something like The Flash.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Ray. Ray is rarely the
Yeah,
Atom.
he's the Atom less than Nate is Steel.
Yeah.
At
I
least
mean-
they can do a visual effect on him.
I guess it makes sense that when you're up against a demon, being steel doesn't necessarily always help, right?
Way to suspend disbelief.
Has nothing to do with special effects budget whatsoever.
It's all
It's
about
just
the
useless
fact
against
of
demons.
fighting a demon.
I'm trying to help.
No, but they use special effects a lot this season.
They
Just
did.
on
I
other
just think
things.
they used
Yeah.
it different on
Instead
different
of
things.
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of magic. And unicorns.
I
just
know.
one
Biting
unicorn.
Yep.
What?
Nipple biting unicorn.
Yeah.
And then nipples turning into eyeballs.
Yeah, that was
a bit.
weird.
That was a little weird. That was maybe the low point.
I don't like that.
Kyle watches all these horror movies, big horror fan, we've talked about it.
And I zoned out during that episode.
And he was like,
then I was
"What
sitting on
the
the
hell
couch,
is
and then
that?"
Hillary's rewatching it, and I look up and I just see a close up of that nipple looking around.
He's like, what the hell is that?
Low point of the season. The eyeball nipple.
Not lower than Mona.
No, nothing was done.
I mean, it was
Okay,
meant to
okay.
be corny.
Yeah.
It achieved its goal.
I'm sorry, Ramona Young. I'm sure you're a very nice person, but your character sucks. I have very strong opinions.
I would agree. It was the down point of the season.
Yes.
We did
Well,
briefly
she was
get.
just annoying. I agree.
Yeah.
I like that one of the mythical creatures towards the end that we just see is Professor Puppet. The Stein
Voiced
Puppet.
by Paul
Paul
Rubens. Yes.
Anytime that character's around, I'm fine with it. What else happened, Kylie?
Well, a lot that nobody seems to be wanting to talk about so much.
Prompt us, oh moderator.
Okay, well, you know, we did
drop
cover
off.
a lot of this stuff and
We
the
talked about
puppets.
Constantine, but we didn't talk about his time actually in hell or the underworld or whatever it is.
Hell.
Going to say
Yeah, he
right.
went down to
Yeah.
hell
Yeah.
and kind of had to deal
Which-
with all of that stuff.
And
We
meeting
all-
Astra. Astra's kind of the big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the soul that he regrets losing. And
Right.
she's all grown up in hell.
And it seems like that will be some of what we saw there is the tie-in or the hints to what we'll be seeing in season 4
I think we're going to get quite a bit of Hellblazer.
and historical baddies back from the dead or something.
Yeah, there were
Genghis Khan,
yeah, I've
Joseph
got a list.
Stalin.
There was Manson, Gacy.
Oh, you wrote him down?
Yeah.
They showed him. It was like
There's
a couple
Mary
quick
Tudor,
shots.
Genghis Khan, Stalin, Rasputin,
Mary
maybe
Tudor
Caligula.
and Bloody
Caligula,
Mary?
yeah, she did put it in her pocket.
Borden, Lizzie Borden.
You were
A lot of
asking me to read your own
American,
handwriting?
well, I wrote this back right the morning after the episode aired.
It's okay, honey. It's all right.
I went back and freeze framed and was writing down the names because I feel those are going to be the villains that
Yeah.
we see.
I'm very
See,
excited
that's
about
awesome.
this.
Like I said, I like
Definitely.
when they bring up
Awesome.
all these people, not only the fictional pop culture characters, but the real
Yeah, I
life,
mean,
like
And I hope we get some
historical-
fun actors
So-
playing these
Yeah.
parts.
There were 16
Manson.
coins,
Yep.
and I only was able to get 2, 4, 6,
Oh,
8
dang it.
names.
Yeah.
Because
there's
the
more.
others, you were seeing the other side
Let's
of them.
look it up.
So, well, I did. I
I
couldn't
don't
see
think
all of them.
yeah,
They
they
purposely-
purposely
they
purposely
didn't.
There were 16 coins, but you could only see the names of 8 of them, and
It's
they're,
probably
they're
gonna
all
be
real
those
life
8
characters.
plus,
And some of them are historical, like Caligula and Rasputin. So
I'm
I
sorry.
think Nate's
Who's
history.
what?
Caligula, Roman
Caligula.
Emperor.
Caligula. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He gets it
He
now.
did say Caligula.
Nate, you're so pretty. Nate, you're so pretty.
She said Nate, you're
I did.
That is-
Sorry, I'm thinking about something.
She's
else.
one track minded.
That's like a Freudian
Sounds too
slip.
close to Magilla Gorilla.
Roll with it. No, I'm gone.
I don't get what's happening.
None of us drank.
Nope.
There's a lot of sugar though. So what else happened while we're now on the season finale and you brought up the cliffhanger? I mean, they just tracked all of these magical creatures down, and the big season finale deal was that Ray was possessed by Neron. Nobody talked about that.
I really liked Brandon Routh being a demon.
Me too.
I like that he got to stretch
Yeah, it made for interesting story.
and putting again Constantine in that and trying to save him and then depossessing him and then he's magically Ray again.
Yeah.
That was delightful.
This show doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's a good thing.
That's a great thing. It's very nice.
I like when Constantine is doing all of his spells. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of wide-eyed chanting stuff is fun.
Well, he commits his whole body to
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
every part of him.
So there's that. Yeah. So then they open that. They try to open the theme park so that they can, fool Neron. Because Neron is possessed, they're trying to save Ray, so they actually open Hayworld, and they have this whole show. I see. Everybody's real thrilled about the show.
Well, I just like that they kept making fun of, like, when at the end, this kind of after, but like when they're singing again, like, didn't we do this last year?
This time it was James Taylor.
They do a lot of quick throwbacks to stuff they've already done. They even reference mistakes that they've made in the past.
It was cute. It was fun.
They do lots of little neat, quirky things that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
That's pretty much
Okay,
the-
great.
But yeah,
Everybody's
I mean-
like, it's fun. It's
You know,
great,
you
it's
know what I didn't
awesome."
care about?
Good podcasting.
You know what I didn't care about? Ava and Sarah. I didn't care
Oh.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't bring it up.
It's
It's another forced relationship.
it's tired.
Well, I mean,
something
like,
that
I
does-
liked it when
earlier-
they were getting along at first,
Yeah,
and then
the
she went
earlier-
through her arc with being like the cloney thing and all that, whatever.
They got to a point in the relationship where I no longer think they should be together.
Yeah.
I think Ava's gone
Yes.
too far with, and I can't remember what, but I just remember thinking, this should be done. Sarah should be done with Ava.
And that seems to be every forced relationship in the DCTU. They get to a point where they go about 6 weeks too long in storytelling for that particular relationship. So many times it's unnecessary.
And that, I
Like-
think, was my
Like when they were picking out the mattresses,
Yeah.
and they were talking about the warranty.
That
One of my
was in
least
Ava's
fa-
personal hell, to be fair.
I didn't
Yeah.
care.
But it shouldn't have felt like
Yeah.
not watching it. It was one of my least favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
literally
Agreed.
was my and when they're in
That
the
and the
kitchen
Mona
and she's
one.
freaking out at her because she's like, "Oh, you're not doing all the things fast enough."
Although anybody that has been to IKEA feels that episode that's stuck in a store that never stops.
I don't really mind them, but I also don't really care about them.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't mind them. I just don't.
Doesn't it
care.
feel forced to you?
No, not them.
Not in the start, like
Not
no,
like
the
the start,
summer
I didn't.
camp episode
We're
was really
talking about,
cute when they
yeah,
had
the
the first.
I
summer
like
camp
them in,
like, that was
episode
cute.
awesome. That was the first half of the season.
And then they
towards the
felt like
end of it,
needless drama.
Yeah.
They're like, we need to go somewhere with them. Oh, let's create that drama. That
Yeah, I don't
conflict.
think the relationship is forced. I think
Yeah,
they're
I
trying
agree
to
with that.
force obstacles because those two,
That's-
unlike
That's
unlike Shyler Lee
Yeah,
and
that's better.
Supergirl,
They still
or
have
whatever,
chemistry.
They still have really
work,
good chemistry.
They still work well.
and they
with each other.
organically came together as opposed to just they're together.
Hey, look, we just met.
Right. So
They, what Ava and
But they
Sarah
haven't
disagreed
even-
on something. What did they have their big disagreement?
it was all on House.
Hanks, and also Nate's dad, went
yeah.
down hard on Ava about something, and then Sarah, went off and did the opposite, and then they got into a big fight about
Yeah,
it.
because Sarah
The magical creatures.
was going to do her own thing, being the captain of the Wave Rider. She had thoughts about how things could go, whereas Ava was like, no, we have to follow the rules because we're in trouble.
And then
It was
Ava wasn't
obvious that
questioning
things
how
were-
the
Yeah,
prisoners
Sarah
were
was
being
going to
moral.
help the
Yeah.
magical creatures, and she was like, "No, you shouldn't be doing that." It was.
Yeah,
But they also made Ava a series regular this season, which I thought was probably too much, because I think she also works in smaller doses. She's kind of the stiff. I don't really care about her character very much. It hasn't developed beyond where it was in season 3.
I can't see her as a regular. I don't think I know the Legends are a band of misfits, but I don't think she would fit
She
with
doesn't.
them.
She's
I kind
only
of
there.
feel that Ray doesn't fit anymore.
Well, he's
I-
leaving
I-
in season 2.
At the end of
Oh.
season 5, Courtney Ford and Brandon Routh are leaving.
Who's Courtney Ford?
His
Nora
Dark.
and his real life
Oh.
wife.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it feels like he's just out of place then.
They haven't
Yeah.
been writing him too well.
Well, that's
Really,
a
the
part of
best
the problem.
the best
Yeah.
thing they did for him this season is let
Make
him
him
play a different
Euron.
character.
Yeah.
So
Make him Kingdom Come Superman.
That's
Which is
this
awesome.
coming season,
Yeah.
not last season. And we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm actually a little worried for this crossover compared to previous ones.
be the
There's
best
a
one ever.
lot
They're throwing everything
of
into
hype.
it. They can't possibly mess it
A
up.
lot of hype and a lot of pressure.
And they're releasing
They're
a lot
packing
of stuff.
so much into
Five.
it.
Well, that's what I'm saying too.
episodes.
Oh,
They're
you don't
getting
think
people
it's
really
gonna be
excited for
cohesive?
things that might be like a quick flash or like something that's not like a main.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
like
I
some
think
of the stuff
Superman's going to be obviously the fulcrum upon which the whole thing.
because
revolves,
didn't they just
but-
announce a spin-off? Not a
It's in
spin-off.
development.
They're developing a possible spin-off of that, and
So they might play into that even
the
more
Birds of
to
Prey.
get us
Valenti
excited.
is becoming very, very successful as a writer in general. I mean, his production company is doing Prodigal Son on Fox.
Riverdale.
I think
Chilling
he has
Adventures of
he has like
Sabrina.
21 shows on TV like spread out.
And I think that may be starting to put some negativity into the DCTU as far as he's just stretched too thin. And it was
Well, he
him that
leaves
started
show-
it and made
yeah.
it successful.
And his showrunners are of varying quality, so
Yes.
some people get it and some people don't. Plus, they lost that one dude to the Me Too,
Andrew
Kreisberg.
yeah.
and I think Supergirl kind of took a turn after he left, unfortunately. Which I'm not saying hire him back, I'm just saying
That show,
was
that show,
probably the
I would
change.
not mind
Yeah.
seeing that show get its last rights.
Especially like once you have a Superman show, like what does Supergirl have to add?
You can put
Unless
her
he's
on it,
not
just
on.
her though.
Well,
Unless
they
he's not
already
back on
pulled it
Earth.
back from the dead once when they rescued it when CBS was cancelling it.
After
So
the first season.
Yeah.
They've had
And Jimmy
many
just left.
opportunities to make
Yeah.
it interesting.
But we
already
didn't
talked
want
about
Jimmy.
this.
well, we didn't want James.
Right.
So how do you think the overall story of Legends of Tomorrow held up? What questions do you have going forward? What do you predict for season 5?
It was a loose story, but it held up well.
Okay.
It held up to
Yeah.
it held up to expectations and enjoyment levels of the show.
Yes.
Every episode for me was fun and enjoyable. There wasn't a single one that I thought the entire episode was terrible. Just like
There were scenes.
yeah,
There were-
scenes and
yeah.
aspects.
You're
But then
gonna
there's
get
other
that.
things to lift that up.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't have any episodes as a whole that I was like, oh god, I wish I hadn't seen that.
I think my least
Except
favorite
for the
episode
nipple.
was the one where it was like Mona's
The
wolf
monocentric.
boy
Yeah.
friend was fighting.
The Lucha Libre episode.
yeah, I didn't care
Yeah,
for
the
that.
wrestling episode.
Which actually felt like a ripoff of an Angel season 5.
It was! I thought that too, Kyle.
And I didn't mind it because I used to be a wrestling fan, so it was
I
But
had
I liked the fact that John Constantine was like secretly obsessed with like Lucha Libre and you knew like the entire history.
Yeah,
like it's
that
such
was
a
fun.
random
That was
thing.
fun.
there were little fun things in that episode even.
Yeah, he
That we
did.
didn't keep it.
I love it when he has his random passion. I predict for season 5 that we're going to see more Hellblazer. Yeah.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah, I have
That's
a question.
what I want.
I have a question that I want to get answered in season 5.
Sure.
What's
maybe.
going to happen to Zari?
That's a very good
Yeah.
We didn't
question.
talk about that.
Yeah, so
In the
tell us what
finale.
happened,
Yeah,
Kristen.
so
Talk about it.
Zari is in the audience at the show. It's because the baby dragon like inspired her and it made her who she is.
I tried to lead
the
everybody to
empathy.
this.
You know, but I'm getting there.
You are.
And
With gusto.
yes, and so adult Zari has to be on the Wave Rider while her younger self is at the Haywood show, and she can't leave the Wave Rider, otherwise she will be erased from the timeline that we're currently in. And oh no, something happened.
I literally just watched that, but
Yeah.
I forgot about it till you wrote
Yeah,
it up.
the gang's in trouble. Things are gonna go down, and adult Zari leaves the Wave Rider and essentially sacrifices herself to save the rest of the legends.
Particularly Nate.
Particularly Nate.
Because she has feels.
She does. She has feels.
They aren't just doing it, she really cares about him.
Yeah, they love each other.
They do. And so she essentially gets erased from
we
this.
see a different.
Oh, yeah.
We see
Person.
Because
it's
she got her,
He
the amulet
immediately
because her
forgets
brother
about
died.
Yeah, so her
And since her brother didn't die,
now her
she's-
brother has the amulet, and now he's one of the legends.
Yes.
And, like, in that moment, they're talking to each other, she's gone, and then, like, Nate, he has, like, a moment of, like, and then immediately forgets about her and just continues on the conversation. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And
I'm a little
yeah.
nervous because I like Zari. I'm
I do
sure
too.
they're going somewhere with it,
Yes.
but
And now we
May
have
just
her
be
brother.
their way of writing the actress out. Maybe she
I
doesn't
don't-
want to continue.
Can I say that I don't think so because I just looked at the episode titles that have been released so far for season 5, and one of them is Zari, not Zari. Haha.
Yeah, I don't think she's gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's dead. I just think she's not
We're
a
gonna
legend.
see.
Yeah,
Right.
she's just
Well,
lived
wait.
a regular life with her brother and her happy family without
Knowing the way
any of that
It's
sad
just-
future.
Yeah.
Knowing the way the DCTU works as well, you have these infinite timelines. That's how we get 95 Harrison
Yep.
Wellses,
Which is awesome.
which is great. Yeah.
Correct. So there's
So-
got to be, I'm sure, it's just a question of, are they that type of love that
Well,
where they
transcends.
always meant to
transcends
It's like the lake
timeline?
house
Right,
or
and
some
how,
shit.
and how
Yeah.
is how is Zari different now that the timeline has been altered and she
And is
got
Zari
to live a happy
special in
life?
some way because she had to do this? We
Yeah.
now also didn't talk about Charlie.
No, we didn't.
I like her better as Charlie than I did as Maya.
I kind of did too.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause-
She's funnier. You know, she's
and like when you
she
talk about
fits
like
She's
Well,
using
like
a real accent.
Constantine,
That's
yeah.
a real accent.
She didn't feel as wooden.
Yeah.
yeah.
And quite often when you have an actor that is doing an accent they're not comfortable with, it comes across as wooden. And that could be the case here, that she didn't feel as comfortable with the accent that she was having to do
As
as
a
Maya,
Maya.
but when she became
A
Charlie,
natural accent.
it freed her up to be more natural.
I just think in general, you can tell she's having more fun with that character.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, you can just see it in her overall. I mean, you can
It's
just
a-
see it in her presence.
And the
Like,
character's written as a more carefree,
Fun.
Yeah,
Very
not-
different than a Maya.
worried
I'm
about.
not an actor, but I would think that that would make it.
Well, playing two characters on a show's got to be fun by itself, but
Yeah, especially when you can do them so differently.
her.
yeah, I liked Charlie too. I mean, I liked Amaya. I liked Amaya when they did the totem storyline in
Yeah.
season 3. I didn't like her before that.
No.
I have
She was
trouble with
flattered
Nixon.
before that.
She was.
Yeah.
And like once they added Zari, then
It,
their powers are similar, and she just wasn't as interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are, but they're not. One is wind and one is earth animals. Come on.
That's all the same in Kyle's book.
I see.
Oh, and then before I forget, since I'm remembering, one of my favorite parts was the cameo by Vandal Savage.
Yes! I thought that was so random.
What's this now?
And that when
The rest.
Constantine
In hell.
goes to hell to save Ray, he finds Ray playing chess with Vandal Savage. The
Jenga,
season 1
not
villain.
chess.
Jenga.
Giant Jenga.
The season. That's right, giant Jenga. You're
And
right.
Ray essentially converted him from being evil into being a happy-go-lucky guy
Who likes to play?
who
giant
got over
Jenga.
his issues, his rejection issues.
Yeah.
Which was informing his entire
It was in
villain.
the, it was
Yeah.
I don't
going down
remember
in
this
hell for
character.
every
But it's
break.
funny because like you can see that the
He was
actor
the season
Casper
1
Crump was having
villain.
fun.
The
Yeah.
whole villain.
How much fun was it as well when Constantine falls into hell straight into a dumpster?
Yeah.
It just made me laugh.
Just those little extras that make the show so enjoyable.
You don't remember Vandal
I guess I have to
Savage?
rewatch season 1.
Was
We
it that
panned
painful?
him a lot. Oh, you weren't on our season 1.
It was a very
episode, but
annoying
he
villain.
was a very
Yes, he
dumb
was-
villain. Between him and the
The
Hawk
Hawks.
people,
Oh, the Hawk
they were
people.
just not
Yeah.
good.
Thankfully, we didn't see the Hawks in this.
No. Cool.
Okay, awesome. Good job. Nice. So the cast, whether up or down in terms of sheer number of players, revolves regularly. Now we're 4 seasons in about them doing this. How do you feel about the constant changing?
You know, it keeps it fresh.
It does.
It brought Constantine into it, and I'm not going to complain
And
about
it's-
that.
It's definitely got
My
rid of
dreams have
It's
come
got rid of some
true.
bad characters.
I was
It's got
gonna
rid of
say.
at least 3 annoying characters, the Hawks and half of Firestorm.
The only
Yeah.
loss to me
All
is
of Firestorm,
is Captain
all of
Holly.
it.
That's
You don't
the
like
only.
Professor Stein?
Professor
I like
Stein
him,
was
but he
good,
left.
Yeah, to me, the only loss that I would mourn
I
is
was
Captain
listing
Cold.
annoying characters.
Yeah.
I liked Arthur
Yeah.
Darnell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that got stale, and he left
It
at
did
the right
get
time.
It got
It did.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I said. Well, yeah, I agree with all those things.
Okay. So everybody says, yes, keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Keeps
It's
it fresh,
fine.
keeps it
Yeah,
interesting.
and you said that Adam is leaving at the end of Ray Palmer is leaving at the end of season 5, and I think that's a good thing because I feel like his time is done.
And I think he knows his time is done.
They haven't given him anything. Really.
Right. I mean, the last
No.
2 seasons, he's felt like I'm just walking through the set now a lot
Yeah.
of the time, and then
I'm a
Well, it's
background
actually a
player.
weird situation because the CW made it sound like, oh, he's done and he's leaving, but then him and his wife went on their Instagram and pretty much said that they were being written off and they didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
they've run out of ideas for them. I think.
Which
There's
is
only
weird.
so
I
much
feel like
they can do
could
to
have
play
done
out
more.
of that bromance.
A lot of people are hoping, since he's leaving and they're being weird about it, about what he's doing next, that he might also be part of the Superman and Lois show.
God,
It might
that
deal
would
with
be
the
cool.
multiverse of Superman.
That'd be interesting.
Especially if we bring in, keep going, between the 3, Tom Welling
That would
and all them.
That's
really-
Moderation face.
Well, because people are speculating. I mean, there's a whole lot of speculation because Tom Welling is still working out like crazy and staying in Superman shape, and everyone's like, why is he so motivated now?
He's a nice guy. I met him.
You
Look,
did
I'm
think-
pro
oh.
Superman anything. So if they make this happen, that would be awesome. But making that all happen, that seems like a tall order, Kyle.
I'm just saying, it's just people's theories online, and
I don't know. That's like
It's time for Tom Welling to do something again.
yeah.
Yeah.
other than Lucifer. You mean?
Well, even
He
then,
was
he's
good
not
in
a main
Lucifer.
character.
I liked him in Lucifer.
It's true. He's been kind of out of the limelight. And I do love him. He's from Michigan, you know.
Yes.
So, are you going to keep watching Legends of Tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you have to, because you want to.
Want to.
I want to.
Why not?
Awesome. So, would you recommend... Oh, really? Would you recommend Legends after season 4?
Yeah.
Weird show to
Yeah.
recommend, though. I don't know how I would.
Yeah, I agree with Nick there.
It's
actually.
fun.
It's a
Give
weird
it a
show
chance.
to recommend. If you like somewhat
Yeah, I
obscure
think
superheroes doing fun things, then yeah.
I can see some people being a little weirded out by what's going on, but otherwise, I think
If somebody said, "Hey, I've started watching Flash. Should I also watch Legends?" then I would recommend it. But if someone's like, "Hey, is there a good show I should start watching?" I don't know
Yeah,
if
it
I,
wouldn't
I'd
be.
like,
It wouldn't be
"What?"
high on my list as
It's
a
a-
recommend show. I think we all like it because we're already watching superhero shows, and those definitely aren't for everyone. If you're going to recommend a superhero show right now, it'd probably be The Flash because it's the more mainstream.
It's the
Superhero
I think
type
it's
show.
constant with its storytelling, and
Quite
if people
honestly, I've
It's
recommended
reliable.
the Marvel ones.
Yeah,
CW ones. When people were saying, what show should I watch? I was like, go to Marvel's
Yeah,
Netflix
Daredevil's
shows. Daredevil's real good.
and then Disney ruined.
oh,
That's for the Marvel podcast, which we have
DC isn't
months
exactly bad.
need
Their
to
best
do.
show was
No.
Swamp Thing.
no, this is probably
Yeah,
enough for
they
this
did that for the
podcast.
online world, which is a
Yeah.
fail anyway.
How are they gonna-
And then right after it gets canceled, they do the HBO Max deal, and it would have been perfect on HBO.
How are they
Frustrating.
going to do the Superman show if
It's going to be on CW.
But
Yeah.
won't Warner just not let them do fun stuff?
Warner Brothers streaming presence is probably going to die on the vine faster than you can say.
A lot
It's
of them will,
the
because
line.
it's just
Yeah.
too many.
I think the only ones that'll probably survive will be like the massive Disney Plus, for example. So they're going to put it on CW. I mean, I think they're going for a whole thing with the.
I
all
think
of
they're
it.
know,
get-
but I
think
guess
they're
what I'm getting at-
nervous.
Okay.
So they're throwing out some
So it won't have the
competition.
problems that Arrow had, where you can't use that character.
Well,
you can't use
the
that
head
character.
of Warner Brothers that came up with that rule, Kevin Sujihara, he was fired. So now, they're
And
Which is
they're
why Superman's in
totally
development, I'm
scrapping
sure.
yeah,
the
that's
DC
the whole
movie
reason they
universe,
can
except for
do
Wonder
Bat.
Woman and
That's
Aquaman.
him getting fired is the whole reason they could do Batwoman. It's the whole reason they can do Superman. It's the reason that there's a Green Lantern show coming up. It opened the fight because he did not like superhero content, even though he's the head of Warner Brothers, who owns DC.
They only have two big things: superhero and Bugs Bunny.
They're not. Well, they're bringing Bugs Bunny shorts back, but I don't think that's gonna keep Warner Brothers alive.
The Animaniacs.
And the Animaniacs are rebooting in 2020
Really?
with all the original cast.
Okay.
Saw it at C2E2. They announced it.
Wow. The guy who did the
Very
voice of
exciting.
That's
Wacko
cool.
is going to love getting a paycheck again.
He's a fairly prolific voice actor.
No,
Jess
what else does
Arnell,
he do?
He does all the stuff on
Oh, my
Nickelodeon
God.
and Comedy Central.
Literally, we
He does a bunch of
List
anime
10
stuff.
things. Okay.
That's
so
more
off.
cartoons
We're so
than I
off.
You
know.
use the internet.
Yeah. He was
It's a thing called Google Nick.
I don't see
You
him
can
in as
Google
much
it.
stuff as I see like Rob Paulson and Tress McNeil.
They do more, but Jess Harnell does a lot.
Okay.
They all three of them, and Maurice LaMarche.
I mean, he couldn't
they're
even
all
do his
working.
own burps. Maurice LaMarche had to do his burps for him.
This is going way off
This
the
is
rails.
so not
This
Legends.
is not Legends of Tomorrow.
They
So,
could reference it in a future episode.
maybe. I would just say that if somebody were to come to me and say, should I watch Legends of Tomorrow, I'd say, do you like fun, campy superhero shows?
If someone asks me, they're
Watch
already
it.
thinking of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
but I-
that's
Just
a different
heavily
way to
warn them
word
about
that
the first
question.
season.
Yeah,
But
don't start with season 1.
I would warn them about the first season. That's a good point. But it's probably not the first one I would recommend of the CW shows. I would recommend The Flash first.
Yeah.
That's the one that I still like a little bit more, Constantine or no. So,
Yeah, currently it's the show that
There's
I think
more substance
more than
in
half
Flash.
of us enjoy the most of the CW shows currently.
I know, but I'm not in that half. I like The Flash better.
Flash to me is a close second right now.
See.
Yeah, I think Legends is my top 2.
So rank them.
Legends, Flash, then...
You don't have to rank Batwoman. We're just doing last season.
No, I mean, I have a hard time ranking Supergirl and Arrow
I
because
see.
I dislike both of them so much now. Because of Lex Luthor, I would say Supergirl and then Arrow.
Yeah, Flash, Legends, still Supergirl, and then Arrow.
Legends, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. Although the Lex Luthor stuff did push Supergirl up a little bit, but if you're banking on a villain coming in to save the show in that regard, it's a sunk ship already.
Yeah, based on last season alone, Legends, Flash, Supergirl, and then Arrow.
Legends, Flash, Supergirl, Arrow.
Flash, Legends, and then I have to tie the two. I said this the last time. The first half of Arrow was decent. The second
was it?
half, yes, it was. That was the one in the prison, and that was better than expected.
Because
to
they
me.
ripped off Daredevil.
Doesn't
They
matter.
rip off something else and be like, I'm brilliant.
It was better than the
Marvel's
first
got a
half.
whole career on that!
That's
Kyle's still very bitter.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
First of all, didn't say it was brilliant. Second of all, better than the first half of Supergirl, which was amazingly poor. Very, very poor. But then second half of Supergirl was better because of Lex Luthor, whereas the second half of Arrow just
Sucked.
sunk into something that just was a
It just
replay of
needs
all
to
the other
die.
seasons.
It
It's
is.
going to!
It's going to.
It's literally
counting
there.
down.
January. It's
So-
over. It's over in January.
Do we know the order for the crossover in the coming season?
Yes. They have released it.
Do you have a quick way to get to
I
it?
can find it. Just give me a second.
Okay.
While you're looking it up, can I connect the Animaniacs? Jesse Hartnell did an Elvis vocal impersonation for DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
See, he's been working good.
He gets jobs. He also does various voices that are imitations of other voices.
I mean, the Grinch, Doc McStuffins, he's doing stuff.
That's right.
He's
Jeez.
just not Daisy Duck.
And who is really?
Tress McNeil.
I know. Tress McNeil gets work all the time because she has one of those ubiquitous voices.
Black Lightning is going to appear in the crossover,
Yeah.
He is.
Wow.
which is a show I started to watch and have stopped watching.
I tried to watch the first few episodes and I just couldn't get into it.
I'm trying to find the actual
Okay,
order.
here we go. Got it. So, it's going to start with Supergirl on Sunday, December 8th at 8 o'clock. Then it's going to go to Batwoman on Monday, December 9th, and The Flash on Tuesday, December 10th. At that point, that's the winter break. No new episodes will air until the crossover picks up again on Tuesday, January 14th. So a month later.
My
It's gonna be
anger
Legends,
just
right?
intensified.
No, it's going to be January 14th. The Tuesday is going to be Arrow at 8. And then Legends of Tomorrow is going to air at 9. So
That
we get
gives me a
both
theory.
episodes.
What's your theory?
But
What's your theory?
then we still have one episode of Arrow after the crossover that will wrap up Arrow and send it off on its merry deathbed.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
And try to spin off Canaries.
Oh, I hope not. Because that backdoor pilot is coming at some point during Arrow. We just don't know when.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much of the new seasons you guys have watched, but it's good, but it is doing what I was afraid it was going to do, which is all just building towards crossover.
Yeah, that's all.
I was okay with that. All of you guys.
I'm okay with it because Arrow has a very distinct purpose now.
As long as it's entertaining, I don't care what it's doing.
I mean, they really didn't have much of a purpose before, so at least it's got one.
It's got a direction.
There's that.
It's full on purpose. Well, at least with Arrow and Flash, it is full on purposeful
on that show.
heading towards the crossover. Whereas Supergirl, Batwoman, and we haven't seen any Legends yet, but Supergirl and Batwoman don't reference it at all. They are oblivious to what's
But
going on.
they're on different Earths though.
Batwoman's
I think Batwoman's on the same Earth as
Batwoman and Supergirl are the same.
Is she?
Yeah.
Because I thought Batwoman was on a different Earth.
Wait,
No,
same Earth.
no,
They traveled
he's
to Gotham.
Right. Batwoman and Arrow and Flash are all on the same Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in Earth 1 and Supergirl's on Earth whatever.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
For now.
Right.
I know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge for now.
Hashtag Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Hashtag simplification is coming.
When we did visit Gotham in the last crossover, it felt like it was in the future from Arrow and Flash, but maybe because it just had the dark
The darkness of Gotham City.
Yeah, which we see in like Star City in their future.
Fun fact, Batwoman is partially shot in Chicago.
Yes,
and
it is.
Very noticeable.
Yes, it is.
It's so noticeable.
Many times I've gone, that's Chicago, and I actually
I've been
looked
on
to
that
see.
bridge.
The majority of their filming is in Vancouver, but
Some
they are
exterior
doing
stuff
a lot of the exterior stuff in Chicago.
That's very
Why
traditional.
Chicago again?
Because
It's
it's as
just
iconic as
become-
Gotham
yeah.
from the Dark Knight movies.
You've got the river and the things that really
Although
fit.
Joker
it.
shot in New York.
Yeah, but it makes it very visually distinctive from the rest of the Vancouver shot shows, which helps a little bit. But still, a little too distracting.
It can be, it kind of pulls you out from
It
it.
does.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, I've also yeah, it's
I like Ruby Rose as Batwoman, so
that's
I figure she'd
that's
be
good for the show.
yeah.
Because that ended right there.
I mean, she may not be a great character, but at least with the character we've got, I figure she'd be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk about that one.
Yeah, it will be. You guys, you'll
Arrow.
If you can get past the first episode, you'll start to enjoy it. The first episode was very painful.
Bad.
I'm like, oh god, this is a shit break.
How did that get a series order with that pilot? I don't know.
Well, we will talk about it because this is the way this is going to work from here on out, which I'm announcing for them as much as you, gentle listener.
What?
I know.
Newsflash.
Newsflash. We're not doing a mid-season roundup this year because with Arrow ending and Batwoman beginning and Legends not starting until the second half of the year, it doesn't really make much sense to round up two shows. So what we're going to do is do our standard crossover review because by that time there'll be 5 whole episodes of Crisis on Infinite Earths, at which time we can judge whether or not it was successful. Following that, we will do our final review of Arrow, and then we'll do the normal 4, but Batwoman will replace Arrow after that in the next year. That's how that's going to work.
All right.
Anything else you want to say about Legends of Tomorrow, Animaniacs, Warner Brothers, Batwoman, whatever you said?
Welcome to the potpourri of
It's perfect for Legends.
I was going to say it really fits the tone perfectly.
Well, since it fits the darn tone, I guess we have to say thanks, Kyle, Hillary, Spencer, Kristen, and Nick for joining me once more to talk about Legends of Tomorrow and the DCTU. And because we've done our talk, it's time to roll the credits. Couch Potatoes Unite! Was produced by Back Pocket Productions, run by yours truly, the Chief Couch Potato, which is really another way of saying executively produced by me, Kylie Piette. My associate producers are Krista Pennington and Selene Rezmer. I edit this podcast, and our logo is by Rebecca Wallace. Our marketing graphic artist is Krista. Our theme song was written by Sarah Milbratz and sung by Sarah, Amy McDaniel, and Kelsey Rezmer. Kelsey played the keyboard, Ian McDonough played the bass, Christian Somerville played the guitar, and the whole kit and caboodle was engineered and produced by Kyle Aspinall and Christian. We hail from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Please, if you like what you hear, take the time to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts. Give us stars, give us comments, give us reviews. Let us know how we're doing. Send us a message. We might just read it on the podcast. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what we should keep, what we should toss. You know how it goes. And if you have suggestions on shows we might consider, contact us at our website, couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com, where we have a guest book, by email at couchpotatoesunite cpupodcast@gmail.com or via our social media, Facebook, Twitter at CPU Podcast, and Instagram at Couch Potatoes Unite. Though, of course, we add new and old shows to chat about around the water cooler all the time. We always have several more new episodes coming down the pike. Just listen to our intros. And if you miss old episodes or want to know in general what we cover, just find us. We are everywhere and searchable wherever you look for things on the internet. You can search for us, or you can subscribe at our website, our channels, our social media accounts. Stay up on our new events and episodes. Until the next time, DC's Legends of Tomorrow is available in its entirety on Netflix because the CW has a contract with them, even though we never do Netflix. In the meantime, our DCTU panel will next reconvene at mid-season, like I just said, and while we normally engage in a mid-season roundup, we are not going to do that. With the changes coming to the Arrowverse this season, we'll only be doing a mid-season review of the foretold mega crossover super exciting event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. In the meantime, Legends of Tomorrow is not due to premiere until January 14th, 2020 as part of that crossover. So until next time, until next episode, new episodes published every Wednesday. Keep listening.